Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sonia and I'm really glad you're here. So in the city of London, there is a bakery that for some years now has a modified double-decker bus that is also a tea venue so that tourists or whomever can be driven around looking at the sights of London while having afternoon tea. Now, I've never done it. I don't really consider myself a tea on a bus kind of person. I have had tea on a boat going down the Thames many years ago. That was fun. But I've never done tea on a bus. Well, as it turns out, now some half a dozen cities in the U.S. also have an afternoon tea bus. And one of them is Dallas. So, of course, now that Dallas has it, I have to do it. And I'm taking you with me. Downtown parking, by the way, is up to you. There are pay lots and other spaces downtown, but the closest is going to be the underground parking for the Dallas County Courthouse, built in 1892, now a museum, and affectionately known as Old Red. Parking can come at a steep price, though, depending on when you go, so be aware. Tea Around Town Dallas provides colorful modified double-decker buses that arrive and depart from a stop on Main Street in front of the John F. Kennedy Memorial. We arrived early to take in a little of the contemplative atmosphere meant to separate the busy sounds of the city from the 50-foot square quiet enclosure. Then it was time to board. All the seating appeared to be upstairs, where we were greeted by one of the servers named Samantha. And lovely atmospheric music to match the floral decorated coach. The tables were already set with tiered trays filled with traditional tea foods. We had a full busload of customers set for the tour. Lots of people here today. Birthday parties, bridal parties. The bus was busy. Soon we were off and running with our tour guide to explain everything.
My name is Mackenzie. I'll be your entertainer and guide today.
As a resident of this area for many years, I didn't expect to see much that I didn't know about. And yet it was interesting to see the tourist highlights, especially the museums, parks, and outdoor art pieces, as well as iconic landmarks that dot the downtown Dallas area. I forgot how tree-lined downtown is, though, which can make it hard to see. Since the food was already on the tables, we were told to start eating. But it did take a few minutes for the tea to arrive, which would be poured into these souvenir tumblers that fit safely into the tables. Well, back home now, but please excuse my interruption here. I'm afraid it's unavoidable. I had some technical difficulties, read that, my fault, with my iPhone at the beginning of the tour, and I didn't get my usual detailed video of what we ate. I think I can explain it well enough, but my apologies for things looking just a little stilted. Now, back to the video. We started with the savories. Because our food was already waiting on the tables when we arrived, the toast on the mushroom canapé was no longer crisp. And while most of the fillings were okay, the sandwich bread had dried out quite a bit. Now, considering the venue, ATF and I, my afternoon tea friend who joins me on these adventures, we understood the need for having everything in place so that there are no serving plates to get dropped and broken on a moving bus. But even with this being portable food, wrapping at least the plate of savories in plastic wrap would prevent stale bread, and I think should have been done here.
This homes over 24,000 objects and 159,000 square feet of exhibition space, making it
Moving on to the scones, we had 2 each, fruit and plain, topped with sugar crystals. The scones were the perfect size, and they were very good. Our only disappointment here was not having enough cream and jam between us. The cream was a salted mascarpone spread, and that's fine. They made no claim that it was clotted cream. There just needed to be more of it.
Plants, trees, and a flowing stream. Pioneer Plaza is the second most visited landmark in Dallas.
Finally, the desserts, all a perfect afternoon tea size. Sadly, my little tart broke apart before I could get it to the plate. I think it was supposed to be lemon, but the flavoring wasn't strong enough to be sure. Honestly, the best of the bunch was the cake pop. It was tasty and moist, really very good. But the rest was just okay. A little cream puff had a very runny filling that was nothing spectacular. And there was some kind of lemon or egg custard cake. I'm not quite sure about it either. Now you do everything online ahead of time. Make the reservations, pay. They offer a Petite and Luxe menu at $69 and $99. We reserved the Petite simply because the Luxe seemed to just offer more food items, and the extra sandwiches were all seafood, which we're not fans of. But when the order went through and was confirmed, we were charged the Luxe price of $99 per person. Now, I thought maybe the prices had simply changed and they hadn't adjusted the website yet. That has happened to us at other venues. But when I asked, they said no, the website prices are correct, but that they are general starting prices. Your final price depends on the departure date selected, the availability, etc. So, if you decide to do this, just be aware. Also, the website says the price is all inclusive, no surprises. But does that mean the gratuity? That wasn't clear. And at the end of the tour, our host suggested they accepted tips and produced a basket to collect them. Okay, so you might have noticed that so far I haven't really mentioned the tea. That's because there was hardly enough of it to talk about. There are no teapots on the table for obvious reasons, but a server comes around with a carafe of tea to pour into these souvenir tea mugs that fit securely on the table. Now, only when the server poured out the first tea, there were several to sample, by the way. Sample is the word. It was such a small amount, I actually thought they'd run out. I thought surely they'll come around with more, but they didn't. And that's just how little they gave every time. Now, filling to the top would not have been practical. Even though this is a double-walled or insulated mug, it holds 2 full cups, or about 500 mils. But we barely got enough to cover the bottom of the mug. Just 2 or 3 sips and we were finished. At one point when we saw the server had poured everybody's tea, I asked if we could have a little more, and she seemed happy to provide it, but she did the same sort of quick splash pour just as the bus hit a bump, and much of it went on the floor. So we still didn't get enough. It could not have been more than a 1/4 cup at each pour, and there were no refills offered. It felt stingy, or as my English friends would say, it felt mean. I think there were 5 teas in all. The first was an iced black tea. The other 4 were hot, but all fruit flavored. Blackberry, I think, tangerine, a watermelon flavor I passed on because I don't like watermelon. And I can't recall the 4th flavor, but still, even at 5 teas, a 1/4 cup each still leaves you wanting. And for that reason, I'm going to have to give this venue 2.5 out of 5 stars. And that might be generous. Don't get me wrong, the wait staff was lovely, they were friendly and helpful, the atmosphere was pretty, and it was something fun to experience. Cute to-go boxes were provided for leftovers. But for the price? I'm glad I did it. I probably would not do it again. But what do you think? Have you been on the Tea Around Town tour bus, either in Dallas or somewhere else? Would you do it again? Have you done the London Tea Bus? Let me know in the comments below. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. and consider subscribing for more afternoon tea videos. Until next time, bye-bye.